Hi, and welcome back to Small Town Murders. I'm your host, Faith, and today we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Hope.
Hope is my twin sister, and she is so excited to be here, as always. Small Town Murders is a podcast where we talk about small towns and the murders that happen in them to prove that small towns aren't the safe havens that they always seem. So shut off your lights and lock your doors. This is the case of the UK teen who killed his Spanish teacher. Welcome back, guys. Like I said, we have a special guest today.
Yup.
So this is actually our first international case in Small Town Murders history, which is really exciting, as always.
Yeah.
So this case happens in Leeds, UK, which is northern UK area. So this case involves two people mainly. Will Cornick, he is 15 and he is a student at the Corpus Christi School in Leeds, UK, obviously. And then we have a Spanish teacher by the name of McGuire. She was 61 and she was 6 months away from retirement. And she was
That's really sad, the victim, 6 months away from retirement.
So she is the victim in this case, unfortunately. And she was described as this kind woman. She was more than a teacher. She was a mentor and just loving. She had 4 kids, 2 of her own, and she actually even adopted her sisters when her sister passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just this kind soul. Everyone loved her. So let's kind of get into this case. This episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter than my others, just because it's kind of cut and dry on what happened. It's just some very confusing elements that I thought we would like to talk about in this episode. So Will didn't like Anne. I don't really have a reason to why he didn't like Anne.
I mean, could it be like bad grades or something like that?
Due to my research, I don't really know what was happening that made him hate Anne so much.
Well, with the other students, did they like Anne also?
No, they didn't dislike Anne. They thought she was a nice lady.
Yeah.
She was into retirement, so maybe she may have been less enthusiastic. But she had been teaching for 41 years.
That's crazy.
Like 4 decades of her life dedicated to teaching. But he said, like, he was depressed when he was around her and how he just hated that she was living.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So he, like, asks, like, his classmates, like, can you kill her? Like, I want her dead. Like, on instant messaging sites.
Okay,
so
he was asking other people to kill her.
Yes. But we'll get into more of that because it's just shocking. But he said he would he asked, like, a classmate, like, when he would murder her to, like, kill her. So he wanted a classmate to video the murder so he would relive it. And obviously this classmate was like, what? Like,
Okay, so let me get this straight.
yeah.
He wanted her dead, but he didn't want to kill her.
He didn't care as long as he was dead. As long as she was dead, I'm sorry.
Okay, so he wanted her dead, but he didn't want to be the one to kill her.
No, he didn't care as long as she was dead. So he would kill her.
So he would kill her if someone else didn't.
Yeah. So, and he also asked a classmate to, like, video him murdering Anne, which is just very confusing.
That's crazy.
He was also known for a kind of dark sense of humor, so they're, like, all thinking, like, oh, maybe.
He's joking about it, yeah.
Yeah. He's joking around about it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, this happened on April 28th, 2014.
Oh, wow. Kind of recent.
Recent-ish, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
He was actually the first student to stab a teacher in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what happens is...
Well, hang on. I have a question
Yeah.
then. So did other students do this before him and just didn't stab the teacher, or?
He was the first to, like, kill a teacher in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
So basically this happened in April 28th, 2014. He actually wasn't supposed to be in this class. So she was helping students finalize projects for their GCSEs.
What's a GS what?
GCSEs. Basically, I'm pretty sure it's similar to an SAT that we take in the U.S. What happens is they go to college and then, so they get out of high school at 16.
Oh, wow.
And then they go to university for like 2 to 3 years. college for 2 to 3 years.
Well, that explains her getting
Yeah.
teaching for 40 years
Yeah.
because here you get out of high school in 18. That would make her like teaching or like college for only
so-
like 2 years.
No, what happens
Okay.
is they take the GCSEs, they get out of high school at 16. A lot of them go to college for 2 years just to get like a little
bit of stuff going.
yeah, like what they're interested in, and then a lot of them go over
Go
to
over
university.
to the university.
Yeah. That's my understanding of it. Of like British media, of like coming of age stories I've watched.
Yeah.
So basically, during this time, she was bent over a desk helping a student.
So another student witnessed this.
There was a class full of students.
So he just walked in.
Yeah, walked in. Everyone knew she hated her, and actually, she was stabbed with a kitchen knife, and he was showing kids
The knife.
the knife, and they like.
And no one did anything?
Here's the thing. They thought he wouldn't actually do it.
Okay, but he's been talking about this for months, messaging you.
Listen,
you might as well report it just in case.
we'll get into it more. There's like also I thought this is confusing. Like see something, say something.
Yeah.
But also like they don't have mass shootings and mass killings like we do in schools in the U.S.
How big is this school? Like, is it a smaller school?
My understanding, it's a pretty average sized school.
Okay.
But then like it's in Leeds, which is a pretty big city.
City?
Yeah. Or like area.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date on my British geography.
British towns?
My British geography, but you know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So during this time, Anne was bent over desk. She didn't see him coming, and she stabbed her like 7 times.
He stabbed her?
He stabbed her
Yeah.
7 times with this kitchen knife. I'm guessing it's like a chef's knife size, like an average
I'm
chef
gonna
knife.
guess.
Because it said it was like about 7 inches long.
Yeah, that's a chef's knife.
So he stabbed her 7 times.
Okay.
With one wound going through her whole body, so like it poked out one way. So I'm guessing
Okay,
near the
that's
neck.
horrific.
Yeah, in the neck though. So she was saying like she ran out into the hallway screaming like he stabbed me in the neck. I'm dying because it's cut her
that's
jugular.
so sad.
Now I have a clip for you, like kind of explaining more into depth better than I can explain it. All my clips this podcast, I would just like to preface, are from the YouTube channel Anna Solves.
Where she had worked for 4 decades.
What makes this as tragic a story as you can imagine is that Anne McGuire wasn't just a teacher, she was a stalwart of a whole school community.
In the spring of 2014, Anne was helping 2 cases revise Spanish for their GCSE exams. On April 28th, Anne was stabbed to death by one of her 15-year-old students, Will Cornick.
During the
So that's that clip.
All right.
So one of the teachers, like everyone heard screaming. So one of her teachers that also
Like
went
one of her teacher friends?
yeah, like took her to a different classroom to get away from Will,
Yeah.
obviously.
Well, I would be scared to leave Will with those other students.
He literally went,
So he stabbed her and just left.
yeah, but it gets worse.
Oh, God.
So basically, after he stabs her to death, which basically they took her to the hospital, ambulances came, took her to the hospital. They tried to resuscitate her for 40 minutes, but
And
she was
she
just
was
too much
gone,
blood
yeah.
loss. So
He got her jugular, probably.
yeah, and what happens was he wasn't even supposed to be in the class, like we stated before. He was actually just went back to his class like normal. Like I'm obviously assuming covered in blood. If you stab someone in the jugular, it's gonna spray.
Exactly. So I don't understand what he's trying to do here. Like, is he trying to get away with
Just
it? Or
no, he's not. Just wait.
like he knows he's going to prison. Like
yeah, at this point he knows. Like there was witnesses like pointing. Like
he literally killed in front of 2 kids.
wait for this. He comes back to his classroom that he's supposed to be in, takes his backpack, and pulls out a bottle of Jack.
Literally, he pulls out a bottle of alcohol and does he start just like drinking it?
Yeah, to
Like,
celebrate.
does he just start pounding it? Like,
I don't know, but it's to celebrate.
to celebrate murdering his teacher.
Yeah.
That's a real good life goal there, obviously.
So shortly after this, he's sent to the office where he's arrested by police.
Good.
Now, something interesting about this is there was another boy arrested.
Why?
So I got this from The Guardian. It's UK news from The Guardian. And it's from the article, "The Teenage Killer of Anne McGuire Asked Classmate to Film Attack."
Oh, did he actually film it?
No. So this is a direct quote. He read out a series of private messages to the boy. Boy had sent a friend on social media network in months leading up to the murder. In one, Kornick offered another student a tenner to brutally kill McGuire. In another, sent on Christmas Eve in 2013, 4 months before the murder, he asked, "So if I kill McGuire on Tuesday in school, will you bail me out?"
So this was premeditated.
100%. But the boy...
So hang on. So the other boy got arrested for just sending messages?
No, the boy was sent the messages. He wasn't charged.
Yeah, but why did they arrest him in the first place?
Because they thought he was connected, but he wasn't. So he was released.
Okay.
Yeah, quickly. Like, they realized this was only him. Now, why would Will kill Miss McGuire?
Well, because he hated her. I mean, that's the only reason we have right now. It's not about bad grades.
He hated her for 2 years and said, on social media sites, he was depressed and angry while she was alive.
Okay, but why?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I mean, some people just don't have teachers they mesh well with, but
to kill your teacher because they make you angry going into class, there have always been classes that I don't want to go into.
But that's just...
But I still complete it.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't... A lot of it doesn't make sense.
This case doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So he had a normal home life. His parents got divorced early on. It didn't really affect him. They were still a very healthy home life. Mm-hmm. No abuse. He was called a bright kid. He was very smart. And he actually took his GCSEs a year early, and he had, 0 signs he would kill. So I'm going to play a clip of Will's classmate talking about him.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of how normal he is.
I was in the same English and maths as Will. He seemed normal. He wasn't my type of person. We had different tastes for things, but he just seemed like another normal kid in my class.
Like I said again, this is so confusing. He was just a normal kid. He didn't like Miss McGuire, but they didn't think he would kill her.
Yeah. I feel though, if I was a student there and there was a kid threatening to kill a teacher, I would still go to a trusted adult.
So here's the thing. Miss McGuire's widow said, he only sees Will as responsible. He doesn't see the students that didn't report not guilty because he was known for dark humor.
Dark humor.
They didn't really, what would you do, if a kid came up to you and it was I'm gonna kill my teacher? That's very confusing. You don't know what to do. You might be in shock. You might just think it's a joke. You don't know. And also, this is Britain. They don't have violence in schools how the U.S. does or other countries do.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess now they know see something, say something. But, it had to take this, though.
Listen, this was the first
ever
violence in a British school where a teacher died.
Yeah.
So they were maybe he's joking, I don't know. Obviously, we're in the U.S. If someone said, I'm going to bring a weapon to school and hurt people, we're reporting it because of how much violence we have in schools.
Exactly.
Detective Superintendent Wallen, this is the main investigator on this case, said he instructed officers to not make students feel guilty because it was Will's fault and not other students. Yeah. So they wouldn't be asking questions why didn't you report this? Why didn't you say something? Because that would make the kids guilty. They technically didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
They were as confused as we are right now.
Okay.
Why would someone do this? They're in a state of shock. Everyone loved Miss McGuire, and she was just murdered.
Yeah.
So this case goes into trial, obviously. I don't really get how... I'm pretty sure the British legal system is pretty similar to the U.S.
Probably. I'm going to guess.
Yeah. I would need to research that a little bit more.
Yeah, we're going to go with that it's like the U.S.
I don't really know, jury stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure they do.
I don't know if it's jury.
I don't know. But what
Doesn't matter
happens
that
is
much.
he's in trial. They're bringing up a bunch of stuff, like his childhood. Like, is he capable of doing this?
Is he going to plead insanity?
No, he didn't plead insanity. He decided to plead guilty.
Okay,
They found him guilty.
obviously.
And he was sentenced to 20 years minimum.
Oh, that's 20 years. Does he get a
Minimum.
possibility?
I don't know. I don't think they get a possibility of parole, quite honestly. I don't know if the UK has parole.
I think they do, but I
But
don't
the
know.
minimum sentence is
minimum
20
of
years.
20 years.
So he will be in there until he's 35 at least.
That's crazy. Like, you kill a teacher and you can get out at 35.
He's also a juvenile though when this was
Yeah, but
happening.
still, you commit an adult crime, you get adult punishment.
Listen, I don't know the logistics of it. I just know what happened.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the logistics of, like, do we think he should have more time, or do we think that maybe there's a possibility of rehabilitation?
I don't know with this kid. He just killed her for no reason.
He didn't like her, so I guess there is a reason. Like, he didn't like her. He felt angry and depressed when he was alive, but we don't know why he felt angry and depressed while she was alive. He had a normal home life. Like, everyone never thought someone was capable, which really shows, like, who's hiding in the darkness that you would never think about.
Yeah, I know that, but this is so...
It's a really sad case to end off the year on. This is my last podcast episode for till next September. So this is just a really bad case. Like, yes, it's a shorter one. It's pretty cut and dry in the actual crime. But it's just so confusing in general of how this happened. And we don't really have an answer, but this is what we have. So
That's crazy.
that's all we really have. May Anne McGuire rest in peace.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of this episode. The Mock Twins are signing out. See you next time on Small Town Murders.